Aditya, excellent. Excited to have you on the podcast. How have you been?
Yeah, good man, like very good. Before we started recording, I was talking with you right about gold. Yeah, I don't know you heard or not. Gold has hit all-time high in India, 80,000 rupees or something. But as I was telling you, none of my grandfather, father, family, no one even said, "Oh, let's sell." So that's the beauty of gold, which we had in India, which we still have. And I'm pretty sure people who are above 50s, they will still continue to hold gold as their reserve, as their strategic reserve, right? I know Bitcoin is a little bit harder for them to understand in order to the infrastructure part. Like I was talking to my grandfather, like my mom's side grandfather. He When I was talking about Bitcoin, he was curiously listening. He understood. Oh, only 21 million. Oh, okay. How do you make sure? And how do you carry this? Okay, how can I do it? Like, can you give it to me in my wallet? Can I take it from some? So all of the things he was telling is, how can I keep it with myself? So he's a gold bug. He's a gold bug. He's been stacking gold since 1970s, 60s when it was 300 rupees 10 gram. Today it's 80,000 rupees. So for him, gold is and I understand he's 78-year-old, 80 years old, right? Like I understand his concern about Bitcoin. But again, that's what maybe in future, maybe we'll try to find some way. I know there are some ways, but entirely, I don't know if there's a easiest way to have them on board.
Yeah, that's a great thought. We jumped into right that, but let's first get you introduced. So, Aditya, can you introduce yourself of what has been your journey? What do you do, and how did you get here till now?
Yeah, so yeah, I'm Aditya. Like I started, so I was in US when I did my masters there, and during my masters, I was right about graduating, starting with a big four there in US, and my professor he asked me to write a paper on Bitcoin and blockchain. So he said me both Bitcoin and blockchain. So again, I that was the first time I heard about it. I was like, okay, what is it? I just want to pass I just want to pass the class. I
Yeah.
was taking undergrad level class at the graduate level, so he wanted me to do some extra work. I was like, okay, I'll write a paper, give it to him. And then I wrote a paper. It was disaster. He said me, "Oh, you have to write it again." I wrote it again. I saw a lot of TED talks back then. There was not many podcasts and everything. There were TED
And
talks.
which year was this, Aditya?
I think 2017 something
Okay.
when I
Okay.
was right
Yeah.
about graduating. Yeah, so he asked me to write a paper on it, and then I was looking at TEDx talks, and there was one book called Crypto Asset. Uh, yeah, very few materials, and I was like, okay, fine. I was also confused with the term blockchain, so I was also confused with, okay, a lot of cryptos were there, right? So I was like, okay, maybe this is also good. This is also good. Oh, we can have Uber on crypto blockchain. We can have this, that. So it was a bit confusing. I didn't study exactly what Bitcoin is and the perks of it. But again, it's a journey. So yeah, I was into a lot of cryptos. Yeah, this one is good also. This one is good also. This. In between, when I started my career, it was on visa and a lot of pressure, big four. Also, I forgot about it for a while, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll catch up later. And then later on, as and when I think 1 or 2 years past, 2019 something, I started studying again. And then 2020 was the moment when we went into COVID environment, and that's what the time when I was started studying. Like I was getting checks from government, $1,200, $2,400, $600. I don't know. I was getting those check because maybe I was below that dollar amount stimulus. So I was like getting those check, and I'm like, okay, why? How are they giving it? Why are they giving it? And got curious about it. And since then, my journey started where I was like studying about Bitcoin day and night, listening to a lot of podcasts, talking about it with friends, and yeah, that's my journey. And since then, and then later on, beginning of this year, I felt like in India, nobody's talking about Bitcoin, especially in Hindi. And I have podcasts done with Stefan Levera, a lot of people, both in English, Hindi, and all. But I was thinking maybe in Hindi, there are very few podcasts. So I started, just for fun, I started recording. And due to that, I made so many good connections. I made connections with people like you who are running the exchanges, people like from Unchained, Casa. They also started, like, I started talking to them. And then even the hardware, like NVK also was one of my guests in the podcast. And I was like, okay, wow, even though I'm so small, everybody is ready to help. Everybody is ready to come talk. Nobody said, oh, I'm too busy. So I was like, okay, what is going on? Like, and then, I was like, okay, fine. So that was my journey. And frankly, still learning a lot and see where it takes. But yeah,
Excellent.
I want to see India grow. I want to see India adopt Bitcoin. I want to see lack of education is real in India. They still think Bitcoin is another stock, or it's a pump and dump scheme. It's a scam. And I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, but 99.99% of India still doesn't understand it and still don't know it. And not just people who are, like, who are below poverty line, or who doesn't have money, even though with the people who have money or who are chartered accountants, MBAs, but they also don't get it. It's not like they're rejecting it, they don't get it, they don't even understand it. So I was like, wow, this is a opportunity for the people who already gets it. But unfortunate that India is again backwards when it comes to that option. Like, America is way ahead.
So, what is Bitcoin, Aditya, according to you?
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin is freedom, right? Like, we just want, it's a freedom. It's a money uh, which is away from centralized authorities. It's something which you can truly own. It's something which it feels freedom. It feels like uh, the I don't know if you know Parker Lewis, right? From
Yes.
yeah. So one thing he says is the most important quality of Bitcoin is 21 million. That's it. All it comes to that, the true scarcity. For me, Bitcoin is a true scarcity. It's nothing in this world is scarce as Bitcoin, after health and time and family, right? Health, time, family. That's the most scarce thing for personal. But when it comes to property, when it comes to digital assets or any assets, I mean, Bitcoin is the most scarcest, most uh, predictable, most transparent, durable asset I see. Yeah. So for me,
Got it.
that's what I see as Bitcoin.
बट इफ यू थिंक ऑफ इट लाइक अ लेमैन आदित्य एंड अगर एक नॉर्मल आदमी के हिसाब से सोचते हैं तो फिर ये सब वर्ड्स तो थोड़े बाउंसर हो जाते हैं कि फ्रीडम, ये
Correct.
तो मैं 1947 में गांधी जी के साथ तो खड़ा नहीं हूँ। तो
Correct.
मैं तो अपनी नौकरी करता हूँ, पैसे कमाता हूँ, एंड या बिजनेस करता हूँ, पैसे कमाता हूँ, एंड वट एवर आर द एवेन्यूज अवेलेबल फॉर मी टू इन्वेस्ट, मैं वो इन्वेस्ट करता हूँ। ये चीज़ मुझे समझ में नहीं आती है, एंड आई डोंट नो व्हाट इट इज, एंड फ्रीडम, या इट्स अ वेग कॉन्सेप्ट, मैं क्या करूं इसके बारे में, सो आई लीव इट, and I will hopefully pick it up sometime later, is the general thought which comes to people's mind. So how, in the near term, if I am a normal middle class person working somewhere, how should I think about Bitcoin? What is Bitcoin and what can it do for me?
Yeah, so as a normal term, you are looking for an asset which is जो सबसे scarce है इस दुनिया में, right? Like, इस दुनिया में सबसे scarce asset क्या है? Like, you want, तो अगर कोई example, मुंबई में कोई एरिया है जिधर तुम्हें घर खरीदना है, तुम ऐसे एरिया में खरीदोगे जो ज़्यादा, तुम्हें पता है कि भाई इसका वैल्यू बढ़ते ही रहने वाला है, मीनिंग मोर एंड मोर एंड मोर एंड मोर, बहुत सारे लोगों को उधर रहने का मन होगा।
So कुलाबा में है ये।
Yeah, even Marine Drive or
या मरीन
Borivali,
ड्राइव में बोरी।
Bandra, whatever. Like those, you want to have a home in an area where everything is accessible. It's in a peak area, and जो बहुत लोग आते ही रहेंगे, मीन्स ये इसकी डिमांड कभी कम नहीं होने वाली। एंड मुझे पता है कि ये बिल्डर इससे ज्यादा बिल्डिंग और नहीं बना पाएगा, ये 10 बिल्डिंग ही बना पाएगा वो एरिया में, इससे ज्यादा वो नहीं बना पाएगा। तो when that hits, तो तुम्हें ऐसा लगे, अभी जैसे मैंने बोल दिया अगर आपको अब कि चर्च गेट मरीन ड्राइव के सामने मैं तुम्हें एक घर देता हूँ for 60 lakhs right
हम्म
now.
हम्म
I bet there will be line till tomorrow morning to buy that
भगदड़ मर जाएगी तुम्हारे घर के आगे लोग दंगा कर देंगे
for 60 lakhs.
हाँ, कि
वो घर
60 करोड़
लेगा
में लोग मिलने वाला था या 6 करोड़ 10 करोड़ में मिलने वाला था, तुम 60 लाख में दे रहे हो।
exactly. And why? Because they know it's sea facing, it's the best place. No one can create more buildings there. It's all set. That's exactly I feel कि जब कोई बिटकॉइन पढ़ता है तो सबसे बड़ी क्वालिटी उसकी यही है कि इस दुनिया में 2 करोड़ 10 लाख बिटकॉइन हो गए. अब जो भी कोई नया बंदा ये सुन रहा है या फिर आएगा या फिर उसको रिसर्च करना है कि मुझे बिटकॉइन क्यों चाहिए, तो सबसे पहले उसको पढ़ना पड़ेगा, जहां तक मुझे लगता है कि वाई 2 करोड़ 10 लाख. What if Modi comes out and make more? What if Trump comes out and make more? What if Satoshi comes out and make more? ये सारे कंफ्यूजन जब सब निकल जाएंगे, जब तुम ट्रूली समझ जाओगे कि nobody in this world can make more. And if they want to make, again मेरे को वो टेक्निकल में नहीं जाना क्यों, ये this is something ऑडियंस को खुद पढ़ना पड़ेगा. They have to put in 10, 15, 20, 50 hours to understand. तो मेरे लिए वही है कि सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बिटकॉइन का है वैल्यू, the most scarcest and most an asset which nobody can create more. तो जब वो हो जाएगा एंड जैसे ही वो हिट होगा लोगों को, आई मीन इट्स, आज इंडिया में सबसे ज्यादा रिटेल गोल्ड इंडिया में लिया जाता है, रिटेल सबसे ज्यादा. तो लोग पहले ही समझ रहे गोल्ड क्यों लेते हैं, क्योंकि पता है कि गोल्ड इज हार्ड टू मेक. बट व्हाट इफ आई टेल यू बिटकॉइन इज मोर हार्डर टू मेक, more transparent, and it's an asset which nobody can create more. And of course I leave it to the audience, please study yourself why, but once you get it, I mean that's it, bitcoin, that's it.
Excellent. So just to summarize what I understood from it, Aditya, is कि मरीन ड्राइव में मुझे मकान खरीदने के लिए तो almost for a normal person there is no chance that I can buy
Correct.
a house or a property or a flat in Marine Drive. But here there is an opportunity of buying Bitcoin where you can buy for as little as 200 rupees to whatever amount you want to buy, and this has the same properties, same scarcity as a scarce house in Marine Drive would have, or maybe even more scarcer. So suddenly, जो हम पहले सोचते थे कि मेरे पास तो अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं है, वहां तो मेरे को 10 करोड़ 15 करोड़ रुपए चाहिए बिफोर आई कैन बाय, सो आई एम प्राइस्ड आउट, मेरे पास अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं है. एंड नाउ देयर इज एन एसेट व्हिच हैज द सेम प्रॉपर्टीज एंड यू कैन बाय फॉर एनी अमाउंट, सो सबके लिए अपॉर्चुनिटी है,
Correct.
and anyone and everyone can buy, and it has the same properties, and because it has the same properties, the same price appreciation or purchasing power increase will also be attributed to this asset. So that is what I think you wanted to say, कि everyone should try and understand, and जितना समझ में आए, get off zero and get start buying some of it.
Yeah, and again, I never say buy. I never say buy. I always say study. Even my podcast name is Study Bitcoin with Aditya, right? Even backwards, it says it's time study Bitcoin. Again, study is the way I got introduced to you is by studying, and of course, it takes time. Of course, if you want to start buying, buy, start today. But again, I know you will sell because if you don't study it, you will sell it too early or you will sell in panic. If you hear, oh, China bans it, India bans it, this bans it, that bans it, you will sell. Again, but if you study it, put in the 10 hours, 20 hours, 50 hours, right? कि पढ़ो कि क्यों चाहिए बिटकॉइन, कैसे पढ़ना, कैसे क्यों ये स्केर्स है, एंड सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज, एंड आई नो यू विल गेट इट टू इट, सेल्फ कस्टडी, जो बहुत जरूरी है. तो ये सारे पर्क्स जब तुम पढ़ लो इसके बारे में, मैं जब मेरे नए दोस्तों को भी बोलता हूँ, मैं यही सीख बोलता हूँ, मैं उनको बुक दे देता हूँ, ये बुक है, ये है, पढ़ो. आई नो बहुत कम लोग पढ़ते हैं, बट आई मीन that's the only way I suggest. I feel hard to say someone buy because I know they will panic, and volatility is so high because Bitcoin is such a small asset in the world of big, huge 900 trillion world. We are just at 1 trillion. So volatility is high. But मैं उनको बताता हूँ कि ये Amazon, Google, Facebook है अभी 1999 का. So it's an opportunity. But yeah.
Yeah. Why is volatility so high, Aditya? जब हम एक कोई कोई खरीदने की सोचता है, as you rightly were mentioning, कि जनरली वॉलेटिलिटी देख के लोग डर जाते हैं कि यार ये तो अभी 60 लाख का हो गया था, कुछ दिन पहले तो 10 लाख का था, अभी ये कैसे इतना ज्यादा बढ़ गया, तो और इतना मूव करता रहता है, कब कब गिर जाएगा. तो why is volatility high, and why someone who's buying should be okay with volatility?
Yeah, I mean, just to see, right? Like, agar I hope I didn't, I should have brought that picture. I would have shared it on the screen. But
Yeah.
if you see a world, if you divide, अगर आप डिवाइड करो रियल एस्टेट को, बॉन्ड मार्केट को, स्टॉक्स को, मनी मार्केट को, इक्विटीज, जितने भी एसेट है, गोल्ड, आर्ट, ये सारे एसेट को अगर तुम टोटल करोगे इस दुनिया में, द वेल्थ इज 900 ट्रिलियन डॉलर. ओके,
Hmm.
900. Bitcoin is right now at 1 trillion. Okay, 1. So it's a dot in an ocean. So that's why जब Bitcoin, and also उसमें भी, if you see, 70% of Bitcoin is in self custody.
Hmm.
So अभी फिलहाल exchanges पे and available to buy is only that remaining 20-30%, which is 3-4 million Bitcoins. That's it. अब उसमें ही प्राइस डिटरमाइन हो रहा है. अब है, मुझे तो लग रहा है, क्योंकि मुझे तो लग रहा है वो जो 70% सेल्फ कस्टडी में, वो तो मूव ही नहीं हो रहे वो लोग. लास्ट 1 साल से मूव भी नहीं किया उन्होंने.
Did you
या
mean to see this?
या नॉट दिस, बट या लाइक दिस वन इज द सप्लाई वन, but also there is another one which shows the wealth of the total world.
Okay, okay. Oh, the Michael Saylor one.
Yeah, the one
Okay.
which I think, I don't know his name, starts with C. He made it, but Kroskis something, maybe
Yeah,
I'm.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but again, just to get an idea, right now we are in a world where Bitcoin is such a small asset कि volatility बनेगी. Volatility is a perk because जब भी कुछ भी न्यूज़ होती है, कुछ भी कुछ होता है, Bitcoin is available 24/7. It's the most liquid asset. If there is a panic in the world, first thing people can do is sell Bitcoin. If there's a good news in the world, first thing people can do is buy Bitcoin. So, I mean, that's what an asset should be. It should be as simple as to sell, buy, whatever. So, that's why volatility is high. Volatility is Amazon during 1999, 2000, it crashed by 90%, 3 times, I think. 3 times. I don't know, maybe you might be aware, but it did 90% crash by 3 times. But again, whoever understood Amazon, whoever understood the future, they are now all millionaires who didn't sell even when, and even Warren Buffett had said, only buy stocks if you can hold it, if it goes by low by 90%. Same thing with house. Like, हाउस का प्राइस अगर लेट्स से तुम्हारे आजू बाजू सुनामी आ गया, हाउस के प्राइस गिर गए, दैट डजंट मीन कि तुम हाउस बेच दोगे. इट यू विल स्टे देयर, यू विल रिकवर. जैसे ही मार्केट रिकवर होगा, you'll be there. You don't sell house in panic. Same thing Bitcoin is a very volatile asset, but again, this volatility is a perk. We are in a dot. As and when Bitcoin becomes more mature, which I think in United States it's becoming mature asset, BlackRock, Fidelity, everybody is talking about it. We have publicly listed mining companies there, publicly listed exchanges there. We have ETF tools there. We have everything. As and when it gets mature, as and when the world adopts, as and when central government put Bitcoin on their reserve, the volatility will decrease. So will the CAGR. So if you want higher risk, higher returns, it comes with high risk. But the beauty of Bitcoin is when you study Bitcoin, that you no longer feel risky. I mean, I'm not suggesting, first of all, I don't suggest any financial advice to anyone, so I'm making it clear. But I'm just talking about myself, that since I started studying Bitcoin, मुझे तो बस ये लगता है कि Bitcoin नहीं होना एक रिस्क है.
Hmm.
अगर तुम्हारे
So
पास
not
Bitcoin
buying
नहीं,
Bitcoin is a bigger risk than buying
yeah,
Bitcoin, or not having Bitcoin is a
yeah,
bigger risk than not uh, having Bitcoin.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and that came with studying. कि मैं जब समझा, बिकॉज दो पहिए होते हैं, राइट? बिटकॉइन क्यों खरीदना है, सॉरी, बिटकॉइन लेना है, बिटकॉइन क्या है, सप्लाई, ये वो, दैट्स वन पार्ट. बट मैं उससे पहले मैंने फिर सोचा कि मुझे बिटकॉइन चाहिए क्यों, लाइक आई मीन ठीक है स्केर्स एसेट है, बट इसकी जरूरत क्या है, लाइक व्हाट्स द यूज ऑफ इट.
या
And when I started studying that, then I started studying current system. कि अभी का current system क्या है? How money printing works, how banks work, how how taxes work. And then when I started studying more and more there, it was like a spiritual journey where I felt like, oh my God, like everybody needs Bitcoin, like and I think इसीलिए Bitcoin ऐसी चीज है कि Bitcoiners जो होते हैं, जो पढ़ लिए इसके बारे में, वो लोग नॉन स्टॉप इसके बारे में बोलना चाहते हैं और सबको सिखाना चाहते हैं. आई डोंट नो, जरूरत भी नहीं है, आई डोंट केयर मेरे फ्रेंड्स खरीदे या नहीं खरीदे, मुझे पता है लैरी फिंक खरीद रहा है, आई डोंट गिव अ शिट, राइट? तो बट इट्स अ थिंग वेयर तुम्हें वो दिख रहा है साफ साफ की प्रॉब्लम्स, एंड तुम चाहते हो तुम्हारे लव्ड वंस बच जाए उससे, कि यार बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम्स है, मनी प्रिंटिंग, जिस तरह मनी प्रिंट हो रहा है, जिस तरह टैक्सेस लिया जा रहा है, डायरेक्ट टैक्स, इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स, ये टैक्स वो टैक्स, फिर जिस तरह एसेट्स और बनाए जा रहे हैं, अनलिमिटेड एसेट्स बन रहे हैं, अनलिमिटेड चीजें कंज्यूम हो रही है, अनलिमिटेड चीजें दे रहे हैं, क्वालिटी खराब हो रही है, हर चीज की क्वालिटी खराब हो रही है, खाने से लेके इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स तक सबकी चीजें क्वालिटी खराब हो रही है. तो ये सब जब तुम्हें दिखने लग जाता है, लगता है यार नो, आई मीन not having it is a risk, but
गॉट
it's a
इट.
journey, guys, and unfortunately nobody can help you in that journey. You have to, even though Abhay can give 10 hours of lecture, I can give 10 hours of lecture, जब तक तुम खुद नहीं पढ़ोगे, uh, you won't buy it. So I would suggest पढ़ो, and then yeah, contact, फिर अभय को contact करो जब तुम्हें समझे.
Excellent. And like जैसे you were saying that like Amazon was early, जिसने इन्वेस्ट किया उसको काफ़ी रिटर्न्स मिला. बिटकॉइन में जो इन्वेस्ट करेगा उसको काफ़ी रिटर्न्स मिल सकता है. जो अभी लोगों ने देखा कि इनवीडिया में जिन्होंने अर्ली इन्वेस्ट किया उनको रिटर्न्स मिलेगा. सो ऐसा थॉट आता है कि जो लेटेस्ट नया वाला क्रिप्टो करेंसी आएगा उसमें इन्वेस्ट करेंगे तो ज़्यादा रिटर्न मिल सकता है, क्योंकि बिटकॉइन तो बहुत बड़ा हो गया अब, शायद बहुत महंगा हो गया है. तो जो बहुत सारे जगह पे मैं देखता हूँ, वीडियो भी देखता हूँ, तो मुझे लगता है कि यार ये तो नया वाला है, ये इसमें सबसे ज़्यादा रिटर्न मिलेगा. तो व्हाट इज योर थॉट, वो मुझे उसमें इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए, और हाउ डू यू थिंक अबाउट इट, एंड व्हाई बिटकॉइन एंड व्हाई नॉट दोज?
Yeah, and मैं खुद उस जर्नी में था, राइट? मैंने स्टार्ट में बोला, इवन आई वाज लॉस्ट. मुझे ऐसा लगा कि यार इथेरियम भी अच्छा है, मुझे लगा ओ ये कौन सा टोकन था तब, और दो तीन टोकन्स थे, वर्च कॉइन, ये वो, व्हाट आई मीन नाउ आई फील, एंड बैक देन दे नेवर अलाउड अस टू बाय फ्रॉम डेबिट कार्ड. जैसे वर्च कॉइन ऐसा था, पॉलिनिक्स नाम का एक्सचेंज था, जहाँ पे वर्च कॉइन तुम कैश देके नहीं खरीद सकते, तुम्हें अपना बिटकॉइन देना पड़ेगा टू खरीदने के लिए. सो यू हैव टू बाय बिटकॉइन एंड देन कन्वर्ट दैट बिटकॉइन टू बाय. सो दे टुक माय बिटकॉइन एंड गेव मी देयर कॉइंस एंड I bought it, and now it's zero. But again, that was the part of my journey, and that's again कि लोग जो सोच रहे हैं कि मैं ये ले लेता हूँ, मैं वो ले लेता हूँ, तुम्हें एक चीज समझनी है, फिर तुम स्टॉक्स ले लो, वो ज्यादा बेटर है, बिकॉज उसमें कंप्लायंस है, उसमें कंपनी है, देयर इज अ रेगुलेटरी बॉडी, वो ज्यादा बेटर है, वो बहुत अच्छा बेटर है देन एनी अदर क्रिप्टो. व्हेन इट कम्स टू क्रिप्टो, बिटकॉइन के अलावा देयर इज नॉट इवन अ सिंगल क्रिप्टो जिसके पीछे कोई सीईओ नहीं है, जिसके पीछे एक ऑफिस नहीं है, जिसके पीछे एक फाउंडेशन नहीं है, जिसके पीछे ये. तो अगेन तुम ऐसी कोई क्यों चीज खरीदना चाहोगे जो तुम्हें पता है कि कोई बंदा बना रहा है उसको, तुम्हें पता है कि कोई बंदा उसको चला रहा है, कोई उसको डिक्टेट कर रहा है, वो कभी भी उसको चेंज कर सकता है. अभी जैसे हमने इथेरियम में भी देखा, प्रूफ ऑफ वर्क से दे जस्ट मूव टू प्रूफ ऑफ स्टेक. आई मीन हाउ इज दैट? ट्राई डूइंग दैट विद बिटकॉइन, यू विल नेवर सक्सीड. वो ही पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. अगर वो हार्ड फोक ही होगा, मीनिंग तुम्हें एक दूसरा बिटकॉइन 2.0 बन जाएगा, बट ये बिटकॉइन को तुम चेंज नहीं कर पाओगे. वैसा इस दुनिया में एक भी और क्रिप्टो नहीं है, एक भी और एसेट नहीं है. सो दैट्स व्हाई मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हाँ तुम कोई 1 रुपए की चीज खरीद लो, 10 रुपए की चीज खरीद लो, ₹20 की चीज खरीद लो, बट अगेन you will lose your money because again some or the other time they will take it away, they can create more, and again maybe you can get lucky, but 99% of the chances you will lose money. 1% you might get lucky that oh something shoot up, but and lot of people जो होते हैं लोग यही बोलते हैं मैं क्रिप्टो में करूंगा, उसमें रिटर्न्स ज्यादा होगा, फिर मैं उसको कन्वर्ट कर दूंगा बिटकॉइन में. ये स्ट्रैटेजी फॉलो करते हैं, बट अगेन वो स्ट्रैटेजी में 80% चांस है कि तुम लूज करोगे. 80%, मोर देन 80%. द बेस्ट स्ट्रैटेजी मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इट्स ए लॉन्ग जर्नी. बिटकॉइन आज से 100, 200, 500, 1000 साल बाद भी रहेगा, राइट? जब तक ह्यूमैनिटी है तब तक वो रहेगा. देयर इज नो वे, आई मीन ऑफ कोर्स इफ देयर इज अ ब्लैक स्वॉन इवेंट आई डोंट नो, बट आई डोंट सी इट गोइंग अवे. एंड इवन सतोशी ने इसको डिजाइन इस तरह किया है कि 21 मिलियन पूरे माइन होने के लिए इट विल टेक मोर 100 years. So it's a very long journey, very long journey. So, and you have to understand we are at 1 trillion of the 900 trillion. So it's a very early stage. It's a very, very, very early. So you truly, if you have patience, if you can wait, if you have a low time preference, I mean, there's no brainer. You don't have to go buy other stuff and all. Yeah, if you want to get quick rich and you want to trade, you want to take higher risk, I mean, उसके लिए शेयर्स है, स्टॉक मार्केट है, वो करो, वो ज़्यादा बेटर है. आई मीन क्रिप्टो में भी करोगे यू लूज, बट द सिंपलेस्ट लाइफ इज, जैसे मेरे ग्रैंडफादर ने बोला, he started buying gold when it was 60 rupees, 100 rupees, 300 rupees, 1000 rupees, 5000, 10,000, 15, 20, 40, 50, 60, today it's 80. And he's still buying. So that's it. It's that simple. आई डोंट नो, मैं जो अगर सुन रहा है और अगर सोच रहा है कि मैं दूसरे क्रिप्टो ले लेता हूँ वो बिटकॉइन बन जाएगा, 99%, 90% चांस नो, वो फेल हो गए प्रोजेक्ट्स. एंड बिटकॉइन को कोई compete नहीं कर सकता, क्योंकि बिटकॉइन इज एन एसेट विच it's truly decentralized, truly owned by people, truly nobody can control it. Truly, even if the creator himself comes in tomorrow, he cannot do anything or anything. All he can do is go to conferences, give some speech, people will clap for him, and that's it. But if he says, oh, let's increase to 42 million, people will start yelling at him. Go fuck off. No, you know, like, no, even Satoshi will hold no. It's a community, it's a world, it's a currency. Everybody is invested heavily. Everybody has started their exchanges. Everybody, I mean, people have started their exchanges. People have started mining. They have put so much money. People have started holding it. Not just America, India, everywhere in the world. So it's no longer one person. It's a community, and I will never vote for my node. You know, it will never vote for 42 million. So that's
Got it.
why, guys, there is
तो
absolutely no second best.
जनरली क्या होता है कि कोई कंपनी या कोई चीज सक्सेसफुल होती है, उसके बिहाइंड सीईओ होता है, कंपनी होती है, मार्केटिंग डिपार्टमेंट होता है, वो प्रोडक्ट बनाते हैं, कुछ करते हैं. एंड आप बोल रहे हो कि बिटकॉइन के पीछे तो कोई भी नहीं है, देयर इज नो सीईओ, नो मार्केटिंग डिपार्टमेंट, नो कंपनी. सो हाउ डू वी ट्रस्ट बिटकॉइन? कैसे ट्रस्ट करें, एंड व्हाई डू यू थिंक दिस इज गुड फॉर बिटकॉइन कि उसके पीछे कोई सीईओ नहीं है?
सो फॉर दैट अगेन, लाइक, अगर तुम्हें ये ट्रूली समझना है तो तुम्हें पढ़ना पड़ेगा इसके बारे में. बट अगेन, सीईओ नहीं है, कंपनी नहीं है, सेंट्रलाइज्ड पार्टी नहीं है, बट इस पूरे बिटकॉइन के पीछे पूरी दुनिया काम कर रही है. सो व्हेन आई एम हैविंग बिटकॉइन एंड मैं सो रहा हूँ रात में, मुझे पता है देर आर अदर पीपल अवेक राइट नाउ वर्किंग फॉर मी. एंड व्हाई दैट हैपेंस इज बिकॉज truly everybody in this world, whoever owns Bitcoin, whoever is mining, whoever is running exchanges, whoever is doing whatever business, they are the ones, you know, are running Bitcoin. So it's not like Bitcoin is backed by nothing. Bitcoin is backed by those people. Bitcoin is backed by the huge energy which is required to mine it. आज कोई भी, not even a single person can mine Bitcoin for free. It was back in 2010, you can just mine on लैपटॉप में माइन कर लोगे, आ जाता था जब एनर्जी. बट जैसे जैसे लोग बढ़ रहे, टुडे अमेरिका में न्यूक्लियर प्लांट्स यूज हो रहे हैं इन ऑर्डर टू माइन बिटकॉइन. We have hydro powers, we have wind powers, we have huge powers. Russia, China, America, Europe, everybody is mining Bitcoin. And that is what backs Bitcoin. And the reason is why we don't need CEO, why we don't need company, is because the entire purpose Bitcoin का इसीलिए था. अगर तुम Bitcoin का white paper पढ़ोगे जो सतोशी ने 31 अक्टूबर 2008 में पब्लिक किया था एक फोरम में उनके, the first line says peer-to-peer transaction with no trusted third party. Simple as that. Its entire purpose is not to trust anyone. Its entire purpose is to get out from a trusted party. तो अगर हम वापस एक ऐसा टूल बनाए जिसके पीछे एक सीईओ एक कंपनी है, तो फिर वो तो एक स्टॉक हो गया ना. तो फिर स्टॉक लो, रिलायंस के बेटर स्टॉक है यार. लाइक I trust Ambani is more on that. I trust कि हाँ they have good compliance, they have good control, they have good connections. I would trust them more than a random guy making some crypto. So for Bitcoin भले ही किसी के साथ कोई चला नहीं रहा उसको, कोई कंपनी नहीं है, but you have to understand the entire people, entire world, even Abhay and me right now talking, we are marketing for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
When Larry Fink, BlackRock, when he goes on TV and speak about Bitcoin, even though he's selling his own ETF, but वो market कर रहा है Bitcoin के लिए. Everybody is marketing for Bitcoin for free. And
Correct.
that's what you have to understand. And CEOs, सब कोई CEO है. Everybody जो Bitcoin का software चला रहे हैं, जो node run कर रहे हैं, they are CEOs in a way. So you have to understand, it's a truly decentralized world. So yeah.
या सो जैसे आप पहले बता रहे थे आदित्य, व्हाट आई एम अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज कि जैसे गोल्ड का कोई ओनर नहीं है, भगवान ने बनाया है, नेचर ने बनाया है, या जो भी है, वैसे ही नाउ द डिजिटल वर्जन ऑफ दैट इज कि ह्यूमैनिटी ने बिटकॉइन डिस्कवर किया या क्रिएट किया सतोशी ने, और हमको गिफ्ट दिया है, एंड नाउ नो सिंगल पर्सन और एंटिटी और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ओन्स इट, एंड दैट्स द core property of it, and that's why how it becomes similar to gold, and no one can debase it because it has those properties, and that is why it might be important for us to study, as you are rightly saying, and understand this more deeply.
Exactly.
इसमें एनर्जी की जब बात की आपने, तो एक और ये बोलते हैं कि एनर्जी बहुत यूज होती है, ये तो बहुत ग्लोबल एनर्जी कंज्यूम कर ले रहा है, और इतना एनर्जी कंज्यूम कर रहा है तो इससे कोई वैल्यू नहीं निकल रही है, तो एनर्जी वेस्ट हो जा रही है, और उसके अगेंस्ट ग्लोबल वार्मिंग भी हो रही है. सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट दैट?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the exact number, but I think if you see the entire usage of Bitcoin is less than 1% or 2% or something of some, it's very less. I mean,
या
it's not at all a lot. Banking services में जो electricity use होती है in order to run their system, data servers, ATMs, bank branches, it's much more than that. First of all, Bitcoin is a fraction of it, and सबसे बड़ी beauty है Bitcoin की, and that's what we are moving as a community. We are moving and trying to achieve कि अभी जैसे एक बहुत बड़ा विंडी एरिया लाइक टेक्सास, एक जंगल में एकदम सुनसान एरिया जहाँ पे कोई ह्यूमैनिटी नहीं रहेगी. वी नो कभी उधर कोई बिल्डिंग नहीं बनने वाली, कुछ नहीं. दे कैन नॉट मेक इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्लांट देयर because they know they cannot supply it to the city which is based in downtown. But they can set up their Bitcoin mining company there and mine Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is using an energy जो कोई यूज नहीं कर रहा. And मैं आज ही एक दोपहर में मेरे एक फ्रेंड से बात कर रहा था. आई विश यार नॉर्थ ईस्ट में देयर आर सो मेनी hydro dams and all. Like we are not like India could literally leverage it because that's a wasted energy right now. Nobody is using that energy. They can set up the Bitcoin mining there and they can mine Bitcoin for cheaper. Like right now, Bitcoin is how much? $62,000, something like that.
yeah.
They can mine it for less than 30,000 right now.
Wow.
Right. Like they can literally mine for cheap, and that's what majority of countries are doing it. So again, if you're concerned about electricity and all, I mean, it's not at all. But it is also very important to put that because Henry Ford, he said that in 1920s or something, we need a money which should be backed by energy. And that's exactly because we right now We can't right now how money is printed. If you study, it's printed out of thin air. In government we trust, and of course there are bonds which are issued, but again you have to study a lot. But we need a money which nobody can create it for free. It has to put the energy, and it has to follow the schedule. जो schedule सतोशी ने डिसाइड किया था, हाँ, ये एक चीज थी जो सतोशी ने एज अ सीईओ डिसाइड किया था when he launched this protocol, that उसने चूज किया 21 मिलियन, एंड उसने चूज किया हर 10 मिनट में कितने बिटकॉइन आएंगे। तो 2008 में जब उसने स्टार्ट किया था, 2009 में 3 जनवरी 2009 when the first block was mined, Genesis block, it started with 50 बिटकॉइन, एंड उसने फिर ऐसा किया अपने प्रोटोकॉल में कि दैट आफ्टर एवरी 2,10,000 ब्लॉक विच इज ऑन एवरेज 4 years, वो सप्लाई कट हो जाएगा हाफ में। एंड 50 का 25 हुआ, 25 का 12.5 हुआ, 12.5 का 6.25 हुआ, एंड अभी राइट नाउ लास्ट अप्रैल में वी आर राइट नाउ करंटली डूइंग 3.125 बिटकॉइन एवरी 10 minutes। तो ये उसने डिसाइड किया। नोबडी, आई नो नोबडी हैड दैट पावर बट हिम। ऑफ कोर्स ही मेड दिस, सो ही हैड दैट पावर। व्हाई दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट? इफ यू वुड हैव चोज, अगर वो 30 मिलियन भी चूज करता, या 10 मिलियन भी चूज करता, या 50 मिलियन भी चूज करता, या फिर सिर्फ 100 बिटकॉइन भी चूज करता, it would have made no difference, because you have to understand कि Bitcoin is highly divisible, and it would have no difference कि वो 21 million हो या 30 million। difference क्या है कि वो truly fixed है कि नहीं, right? So that's what I think कि this is what you should be more concerned about, more studying about, why there is no CEO, why there is a lot of energy, but this is what you truly need to understand the protocol।
Yeah, and as you were saying, energy, Aditya, can be used. And बीच में अभी news आई थी कि Bhutan is using
Yeah।
its energy to mine Bitcoin. So Bhutan, which is
Yes।
like very close neighbor of India. So what is happening in Bhutan? Do you have any idea? And they have accumulated already 10,000 or 20,000 Bitcoins. And how does that um, look for in the next 10, 20 years? Do you think they could be one of the rich countries of the world?
Yeah, so Bhutan, I think they started mining Bitcoin in Himalayas, and I think they were doing it silently. वो बहुत silently कर रहे थे, उनको public नहीं करना था ये information. I think Wall Street Journal, I think, was the first who covered that story कि they were mining it, and I think right now उनके पास they have mined $788 million of Bitcoin. So that closer to 1 billion, right? So they have closer to $1 billion of Bitcoin as of today, which is a very small country. And even America has the highest number of Bitcoin because, of course, उन्होंने mine नहीं किया था, but they did a raid on a Silk Road company back in 2013. So they got those. China has a lot of, in the confiscation, and I'm pretty sure they are mining. I'm pretty sure China is mining. China government is mining. Russia government is mining. I'm pretty sure because they have a lot of energy. तो यही है कि जब छोटी कंट्रीज लाइक भूटान ये लोग देख रहे हैं, दे कैन अंडरस्टैंड जो स्मार्ट है, लाइक कंट्रीज लाइक एल सल्वाडोर, अर्जेंटीना, भूटान, आई डोंट नो व्हाई टर्की इज स्टिल नॉट देयर, बट इनके लिए अपॉर्चुनिटी है। अभी तक सारे के सारे कंट्रीज, एवरी कंट्री इन दिस वर्ल्ड हैज टू डिपेंड ऑन यूएस डॉलर्स। दैट्स इट, द यूएस डॉलर इज द ग्लोबल रिजर्व, एंड एवरीबडी decided it after World War II that yes, US dollar is the good. That was the decision made. But the unfortunate thing is, if US does anything wrong, or if US prints infinite money, or if US goes into, like, the entire world gets affected. So that's why Bitcoin is that hope where Bitcoin can be truly used by everyone. हर एक देश इसको यूज कर सकता है, हर एक देश इसको माइन कर सकता है, हर एक देश इसको रिजर्व में रख सकता है, with nobody truly controlling it. So यही Bhutan, I think they understand it. India, I don't know. I truly hope, but I think it has to be people like us who needs to take the initiative. Of course, there will be time when more and more Bitcoiners will go out, start investing in mining. They will start set up in Northeast India where a lot of energies are used, and so the government will come. Government won't come before it. If you see Uber, if you आपने अगर ट्रेविस की स्टोरी देखी है, राइट, he fought hard with every single government of the world single-handedly, one company. Uber, every country in this world revolted against Uber. It was very hard. However, today every country in this world, almost every country in this world, is using Uber. Government comes in when you prove it, right? Like they won't. It's it's not. I mean, in a way, I think it's not their job to do this. It's the people's job who needs to make this big, and then government will come. They will support. It's not like government won't support. There will be some pushback in the early, but as and when you grow, they will support. Right now, today, every city in India has Uber. There was a time back in 2014, 10 years ago, every city was against Uber. Oh, Uber is not safe. This. So it takes time, and Bitcoin is way bigger than Uber. So
Yeah.
I feel कि इंडिया अभी थोड़ा पीछे है, बट भूटान आगे है, भूटान समझ रही है, धीरे धीरे हर कंट्री समझेगी. एंड अगेन इट्स अ लॉन्ग जर्नी. आई एम नॉट कंसर्न कि इंडिया क्यों नहीं कर रही, ये नहीं. इट्स एन अपॉर्चुनिटी जो समझ रहा है.
Got it. And Aditya, now let's look at अगर मैं एक नॉर्मल नौकरी वाला बंदा हूँ, अच्छी नौकरी करता हूँ, बैंक में करता हूँ, कंसल्टेंसी में करता हूँ, सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपर हूँ, एंड मेरी तनख्वाह एनीवेयर फ्रॉम साल की तनख्वाह 15-20 लाख से लेके 1 करोड़ तक की है. सो दिस पर्सोना, व्हाट इज योर एंड मैंने स्टॉक्स में इन्वेस्ट किया है, मैंने म्यूचुअल फंड खरीदे हैं, मैं रियल एस्टेट भी सोच रहा हूँ कि इतना बढ़ता जा रहा है तो खरीद लेना चाहिए, लोन भी मिलने वाला है मेरे को बैंक से. सो सारे लोग मुझे दोस्त बोल रहे हैं. नाउ दिस पर्सोना, उसके लिए ये बिटकॉइन एकदम अननोन है और वो उसको समझ में नहीं आता कि क्या करे, तो वो छोड़ देता है. तो व्हाट इज योर एडवाइस टू दैट पर्सन? What would you recommend that person do in 6 months to 1 year to think about Bitcoin?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I would say go on YouTube, search a documentary called Broken Money by Lynn Alden. Okay, सबसे पहले YouTube पे जाना एंड और वो डॉक्यूमेंट्री देखना. इट्स अ हाफ एन आवर डॉक्यूमेंट्री. जब तुम वो देखोगे तो खुद तुम्हें समझ में आएगा कि ओके, people are investing in mutual fund today in India. People are investing in stocks. People are understand. Even stocks की journey Abhay, it was not easy. In 1982s, 80s, Motilal Oswal, there were people like used to go door to door to sell that. People never understood it. आज हम 2024 में म्यूचुअल फंड की बात कर रहे हैं, right? It took 10, 20, 30 years. Bitcoin will be same. Give 20 years, everybody will be like, oh, I need Bitcoin, right? Like everybody will have an SIP in Bitcoin. Right now, it's hard to convince people because of the lack of education. So I suggest the easiest way to grow an adoption of Bitcoin is, creating more and more and more Bitcoiners. And that's how education से ही होगा. अभी हम बोलते हैं ओके कि ओ बिटकॉइन में, अभी देयर वाज एन आर्टिकल रोड बाय विवेक इन द बिटकॉइन मैगजीन कि when you see UPI GPay in India, it's amazingly fast. Amazingly. I mean, Bitcoin Lightning is also there, but UPI is so convenient. So it's amazing, right? And the infrastructure is amazing. However, it's centralized. So how can we increase Bitcoin Lightning? Because Lightning is also fast. How can we do that? You cannot do that. The only way to do that is by creating more and more Bitcoiners who will accept Bitcoin. Until then, no matter कितना भी फास्ट ट्रांजैक्शन क्यों ना लेके आओ तुम, ऐसे आंखों में आंखें देख के भी ट्रांजैक्शन अगर हो रहा है, ये भी फास्ट लेके आ जाओ इतना भी, फिर भी लोग नहीं अडॉप्ट करेंगे. बिकॉज स्पीड डजंट मैटर अनलेस एंड अनटिल more and more people start accepting it. And when they will accept, मैं तभी एक्सेप्ट करूंगा जब मैं खुद एक बिटकॉइनर हूँ, मुझे पता है इसके बारे में, तभी मैं एज अ बिजनेस एक्सेप्ट करूंगा. तो हम आज बोलते हैं यार बिटकॉइन इंडिया में तो कोई अडॉप्ट ही नहीं कर रहा, कोई ले ही नहीं रहा, नोबडी इज टेकिंग इट एज अ पेमेंट. या बिकॉज एजुकेशन इज नॉट देयर. वो लोग क्यों लेंगे? वो लोग को लग रहा है मैं स्कैम क्यों लूँ? तो अनलेस एंड अनटिल पीपल स्टडी अबाउट इट, लर्न अबाउट इट, एंड जैसे जैसे मोर बिटकॉइनर्स बनेंगे इंडिया में, एंड इट विल धीरे 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 जैसे जैसे, एंड यही सतोशी ने बहुत मस्त किया कि जो मैंने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले बोला था, राइट, कि हर 4 साल में बिटकॉइन का सप्लाई कट्स इनटू हाफ। वो क्यों किया सतोशी ने? बिकॉज ही वांटेड द डिमांड, उसको ही वांटेड द सप्लाई टू गो डाउन, because he know more and more people will come, and he know people come with the greed and stay for the revolution. Right, people come with the greed. So whenever that happens, the supply gets cut into half, more and more people come. Like for example, abhi supply 6.25 से 3.125 हो गया अप्रैल में, but BlackRock, Fidelity, everybody started selling Bitcoin via the ETF since January. So demand has increased, supply has gone down, and this will explode. I don't know when, I don't want to give prediction, but it's meant to be explode. And जब वो explode होगा, लोग खुद ब खुद आएंगे कि यार ये क्या था, 2021 में तो मैंने यार बहुत पैसा गवाया है बिटकॉइन में, 80% गिर गया, मैंने तो बेच दिया था, अब ये वापस कैसे बढ़ गया, काश मैं नहीं बेचता। एंड देन फिर वो पड़ेगा उसके बारे में। तो एक साइकिल लगती है, 4 साल लगते हैं किसी को भी सीखने के लिए, एंड जैसे ही वो सीखेगा, वो और 10 लोगों को सिखाएगा, और 100 और 200, एंड इट विल टेक टाइम। अबे इट्स अ, ये चीज मैंने रियलाइज की। मेरे को पहले ऐसा लग रहा था यार इंडिया में कैसे बढ़ा है, मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, कैसे बिटकॉइन बिजनेसेस खोले, बट फिर मैंने रियलाइज किया कि यू हैव टू टेक वन स्टेप बैक, कि it's it's also somebody has to work on education part. Not everybody can start doing business, because first you need customers for business,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so ये है। तो that's how I feel कि जो म्यूचुअल, जो 20 लाख, 1 करोड़, 50 लाख की सैलरी है, वो आज भले ही they can afford बट नहीं ले रहे, but there will be time when everybody is greedy, they will study.
Got it. Excellent. And what will be your advice for someone who's a small entrepreneur and CFO of a company, chartered accountant, अपने entrepreneur का बैलेंस शीट मैनेज कर रहा है, उसके पास रुपीस पड़े हुए हैं, वो गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स में डालता है, वो थोड़े बहुत जहां परमिशन मिलती है वो म्यूचुअल फंड में भी इन्वेस्ट करता है. सो वुड देयर बी एनी डिफरेंट एडवाइस फॉर द बिजनेस ओनर एंड बिजनेस CFOs and chartered accountants in that space?
Yeah, I mean, see, I was talking with Zerodha. So Zerodha को जब मैंने, means of course Twitter पे ही मैंने पूछा, hey, why don't you guys issue, like, list Bitcoin? You are selling stocks like Robinhood in America. They do
Yeah.
both stocks and Bitcoin. So why are you not doing this? And I was shocked to know that if anything, anybody is related to SEBI, meaning any publicly listed company in India, or if you have anything which is Zerodha like company which is private, but again they sell stock, so they have to deal with SEBI. SEBI has given clear instruction to not list Bitcoin or not do anything with the Bitcoin. So आज अगर Ambani is reading, I was listening to one of his podcasts where he said he's reading the book about blockchain, and his Anil Ambani's son, he has talked about Bitcoin few times as well. So they know about Bitcoin. They're not dumb. They BlackRock and Geo has a partnership, so
Yeah.
they know exactly. But they still can't do it, even if they want to, because the regulation is not clear. But again, जैसे जैसे more and more publicly listed company will demand it from SEBI. Like America में भी ETF was not a easy tool. SEC ने ये नहीं बोला कि ले लो silver platter में. They had to sue SEC in order to have it approved. So ये सेम थिंग है, ये बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज, पब्लिकली लिस्टेड कंपनीज, CFO, as and when they understand Bitcoin, and they will understand, yaar, my INR is getting devalued insanely. We are at 84 rupees for $1 today. We were at 70 a while ago, and they will understand we are getting devalued 10%, 20%, 30%. Our balance sheet is getting devalued. They will need Bitcoin because they will want to protect their balance sheet. They want to protect their business, like Michael Saylor did. He was about to get bankrupt, and when that happens, a lot of companies will, again, as I said, they will work with government, and government will have to work with them. So that's what I've understood. One thing, yelling at government won't help. तुम कितना ही चिल्ला लो, गवर्नमेंट क्यों नहीं कर रही, इनको समझ नहीं आ रहा क्या, हाउ कैन दे बी डू दिस, आर दे डम? No, they won't unless and until people want it. That's why America is ahead, because Americans demanded it. They demanded it, they wanted it, they sued SEC. Same thing if India में भी अगर grow करना है, publicly listed companies को डालना है, तो they will have to work with that. But again, publicly listed company, every company need to understand that they will need Bitcoin on their balance sheet in order to save from devaluation of the currency. They will have to understand, and everybody knows this. Everybody talks about inflation in India. Everybody understands it, but nobody understands it. Why inflation happens? Nobody understands कि महंगाई क्यों बढ़ रही है हर साल 10%. But they have to understand like how money printing works, how new money is getting issued, how our goods and services are stable, and as and when company studies, they will get into it. So it's just a matter of when, not if. You know.
Yeah, excellent. Great. It was such a knowledgeable session, and as you rightly mentioned, ki basically come in for the greed, come in for your own greed, and then stay for the revolution.
Yeah.
So, what are the places that Aditya people can find you and get to learn from you, and whatever are the work that you are doing on increasing the education on Bitcoin? What which is the places that you would direct the listeners to?
Yeah, as I said, see, I'm available on Twitter. My Twitter handle is studybitcoin21. 21 because 21 million. And it's easy. Study Bitcoin 21. Search karo. My Twitter handle pe mil jaoga. You can ask if you have questions. Please reach out. I'll be happy to help. And if you go on YouTube, just search Study Bitcoin with Aditya. You will find my podcast where I interview some of the. It's just for my hobby. I like to talk to people, especially I wanted मेरे को वो podcast भी इसीलिए open करना था because I knew this is the best way I can network. So if I go to a Bitcoin conference, people will know me कि ओ हाँ ये बंदा कुछ तो करता है. Or else if I would have not started, maybe they would have never knew me, right? We would have never talked. So
Yeah.
that's why I started it. So I have few episodes there. You can go watch. कोई हिंदी में भी है, कोई इंग्लिश में भी है. मैंने थंबनेल में क्लियर किया, सो उस हिसाब से अगर आपको जो पसंद है वो देख सकते हो. एंड दैट्स द टू प्लेस वेयर यू कैन फाइंड मी.
Thank you so much, Aditya, for your time, and thanks for everything that you do. We are blessed to have you to forward the light that Satoshi shined on this world. And yeah, we look forward to continuing to learn from you and work with you and educate more and more people on Bitcoin.
Yeah, and no, thanks to you as well, Abhay. I think you are the only one right now who has a Bitcoin only exchange in India. You're working hard to it. I know it's very hard, uh, especially given the the level of people who are into this, right? They first of all, India में Bitcoin समझाना तो वही hard है, challenging. Self custody तो बहुत दूर की बात है. But one thing I will give this message to people. जब तुम सोना खरीदते हो, तुम सोने की दुकान में जाते हो, सोना खरीद के सुनार को नहीं बोलते कि तुम हमारे सोना रखो. ओके, बिकॉज भले ही सुनार कितना भी नॉलेजेबल हो, कितना भी उसका नाम हो, कितना भी गुडविल हो, तुम सोना घर लेके आते हो, तुम घर में तिजोरी में रखते हो, घर के नीचे रखते हो, जाके बैंक लॉकर में रखते हो, किधर भी छुपा के, तुम्हारी मर्जी, बट तुम अपने पास लेके आते हो. सेम थिंग, अगर बिटकॉइन तुमने एक्सचेंज पे रखा है एंड अगर आपकी एक्सचेंज आपको बिटकॉइन अलाउ नहीं करती विड्रॉ करने के लिए, यू विल द एंटायर पर्पस, इससे अच्छा तुम मत लो बिटकॉइन. एंड आई एम टेलिंग इट वेरी, I would urge people to not buy Bitcoin if they cannot, study self custody. I know self custody day one से नहीं होता. When it becomes a little bigger amount, that's when you want to. You can't just do it day one. It's a journey. But it took me 1 year to get into it. Like इतना easy नहीं था. But you have to understand कि only do business with those. At least अगर तुम्हें exchange पे भी रखना है, तो उसी exchange पे रखो जो withdrawal at least allow तो करता है. तुम्हें पता है कि हाँ मुझे जब लेना है तो मुझे मिलेगा तो सही. बिकॉज इंडिया में बहुत एक्सचेंजेस है जो अलाउ भी नहीं कर रहे. तो आई मीन इट डिफीट्स द एंटायर पर्पस. एंड अगेन, never trust Aditya, Abhay, nobody. The entire purpose of Bitcoin is no trusted third party. So please never trust anyone. Study Bitcoin, study self-custody, study how, take that responsibility. Even though if Abhay has amazing goodwill, GetBit has amazing goodwill, you still don't want to trust them. So you want to do business with them, do your business, get out. It's like a like just do your business and get out. That's it. And I think you guys are doing fantastic job. You guys give free self custody. I mean, that's amazing. And I again, that's what I tell people. Like, again, I have no connections with GetBit. Abhay didn't even tell me to do this or talk about this. But again, you only want to do business with an exchanges who allows self custody. Do your research. Do There are exchanges? Do your own research. Do it. But that's my message to everyone. And I wish you all the best. It's a very big race, and it's a very slow race. And don't panic, don't FOMO. Take your time, study it, get into it, and even though a person who's born after 50 years, he or she will go to the school and go to job after 25 years. So let's say 75 years from now, he or she will still want Bitcoin. So it's a long journey. So yeah, good luck with that.
Thank you, Aditya.